Uh, I've got on with me Mark Patrick. Mark has been helping us out with Carolina Varsity for many years. And Mark, a lot of kids will know, especially kids in the Still Creek area, will know that Mark was associated very closely with Still Creek Athletic Association. And that's one of the reasons I have Mark on tonight, although I want Mark to start doing more of this stuff, is because the player that we have with us tonight, Albert Ace Flemming, the fourth, says his nickname is Ace. We should be streaming, by the way, guys, to YouTube, Twitter, and my Facebook page. I can't get it to the Carolina Varsity Facebook page because I'm testing this Restream software out, which is also why I have a green screen behind me and not a great picture of Albert. So anyway, that's why Mark is here. And of course, I'm a Still Creek. I live in Still Creek. All my children graduated from Olympic High School, Albert. And as I was telling you before we got on air, two of them played at Olympic, and one of them a very good football player, team captain, all that other stuff. The other one, as I told you, he had great technique. He loved the game. He knew the game as well as any coach could know it. But he was slower. He was slow. I could run faster backwards when I was a high school athlete than he could forward. So I might be exaggerating it, but, you know, a wide receiver with a 5.0 or a 5.2 40 is not going to make it, right?
Hey, Dale, I'm on Twitter now. I'm looking. I see us on your Twitter page.
Okay, that's good. All right.
That's
all right,
okay.
Good. All right, yeah, that's good. So, yeah, because we can share it across the Carolina Varsity and other places. So, Albert, I wanted to talk this is kind of more of a general chat. I did give you a little, thoughts on what we would talk about. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was, youth football. And you played at Still Creek Athletic Association, a place that Mark was very heavily associated with. And just what are your memories of youth football? What is your biggest memory, or what are your thoughts about youth football?
Biggest memory, I would say, would be playing it was my last season playing for the Seahawks. We played at Memorial Stadium. We played against PAL, the Raiders. I just thought that was like the greatest thing. I remember playing on TV. So it was like an early feeling of like playing in front of a good crowd. But youth football overall, I think, is a good thing because it helps a lot of people with.
Yeah, so Memorial Stadium, when I was in high school, most of the high schools played at Memorial Stadium. A few of the high schools played in their own stadiums. Looked like we lost Albert for a minute. I'm sure he'll be back. So, Mark, that would have been a great experience for you guys being at Memorial Stadium playing.
Yeah, we call that the Holy Grail. And the Optimist Club in Charlotte kind of sponsors Potwater and Little Panthers. And, of course, I was the commissioner for Still Creek. And we had as many as 6 or 7 teams, started out with just a couple of teams. And the reward that they put together was, the city championships. They call them the Optimist Bowls. They would hold them at Memorial Stadium. There was a few years they had them at a couple of high schools, but we always liked Memorial Stadium because we call that like that was the Holy Grail there. If you got to play there, and it was just a neat environment. The kids got to go in a locker room for like the first time and get dressed and come out, and the Panthers would let us borrow one of their big tunnels. So they would put up a big blow-up tunnel, and the kids would run through that. So that was a huge experience. And, Still Creek over the years, we've had teams in that championship almost every year. We had a really good program there. Just a few years, maybe we got left out of it. But we seem to always have a team or 2 or 3 in that championship, and that's by age group. And I'm glad Albert got to experience that. So, yeah, it's a good time. I remember Albert signing up with Still Creek. Me and my wife would do all the sign-ups and the paperwork and meet the parents for the first time. And Albert was like 8-year-old, maybe 7. Little pudgy kid, not built like he is now. And first thing I thought was, man, this kid looks like a linebacker or a fullback or something, And that's what he became. He became a linebacker there. And Albert, I don't know if you know this, but I started that program out there. And when you came along, I'm really hanging my hat on you as kind of my official last kid that I really kind of had some impact and got to coach you a little bit. I spent 15 years out there, and I kind of retired right after that and followed my son on to college. He got the scholarship at Limestone. You probably met Evan before. He used to come out there sometimes at practices, and he was a big Olympic guy. He was all county, all region linebacker, and played good out there. So anyway, I just like to see guys do well and come out of Steel Creek. We've had a lot of guys come out of there. You had Cameron come out of there last year, went to Naval Academy. He's a midshipman up there, plebe, they call him, first-year player. And so anyway, we just want some good things to happen for you. And whatever I can do to help you, be glad to. And, I'm kind of done with Steel Creek, but I still, it's deep in my heart. I got that thing off the ground and got the field built. You don't even know all that story, but got a press box built out there. And we're one of the few teams in Charlotte that had our own field. A lot of the other Pop Warner leagues had to rent a school or something like that. So we kind of took pride in it being our own field. But anyway.
Okay, so let's so Steel Creek, there's a lot about Steel Creek that I don't know if you know, and maybe someday we could talk about even some history about Steel Creek. But
yeah,
Mark just mentioned about the players and or positions, I should say, and you played multiple positions here in high school.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us, what positions you're playing this year, maybe what positions you have played, and what's your favorite position?
So positions I play right now, I'm a receiver. I play DB, so corner, free safety. I do punting, punt return, kick return, and I hold the ball for field goals. But I say my favorite position right now would be receiver and kick return. I just feel like that could show like my true abilities on speed, physicality, and just playing football IQ by itself.
Yeah, I've seen that kick return. You just seem to when you step back there for a kickoff return, from the times I've seen you the last 2 years, seems like you in your element. You look super confident. You run out skipping. My wife always kind of jokes around. She says, it's crazy to see big old athletes in high school, college, even pros skip out onto the field. I've seen you skip out there to do the kickoff return. That means you just super excited, super comfortable, got a good vision and speed. And so anyway, yeah, I like watching you play kickoff return.
Yes, sir.
So you play other sports. You're a track athlete, I understand?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
So I've been running track since I was in 7th grade. That was my first year. I played basketball as well my freshman year, but track was more of the sport I focused on between those two. We went to states this past year. I ran the 4x2 and 4x4. And so last two seasons, we had a really good year, especially during COVID. We had to adjust to that. So knowing that we wanted to run, we had to come back, show the effort, and we made it to where we wanted to be.
What's your 100? What do you run 100 on?
It wasn't the best time last season, but I ran 11.2.
Okay. And how much you squat?
My squat, the most I squatted was 405.
405.
Yes, sir.
Man, what is your weight again? Tell me your height and weight.
I weigh 180.
180. That's not bad for a 180 guy. 405.
Yeah. What height are you? How tall are you, Albert?
6 foot 6'1" between those two.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, when you start this recruiting, they're going to get that down to science. You always want to be as tall as you can possibly be. But yeah, 6 foot is that's a good number for the positions you're playing. And 180 pounds, I know when I was in high school, that was like the dream number. If you could get to 180, then, you had a shot to go to college. If you were under 180, you just was going to be too small to play. So I think that's a good size. You got some growing to do.
See, Mark's not really throwing that one out there. Now, I'm going to tell you, at least for me, when I was in high school, if you were 180, you were playing line.
Yeah.
we had very few guys over 200 pounds. On my team, we had 2 guys that were over 200 pounds. And one of them, he was a big pitcher, big old guy. He was only like 210, I think was his weight. So it's not been the whole entire history of high school that we've had, big 250, 300-pound linemen. And so anyway, Mark, just thought I'd throw that out there.
I played tight end my senior year at 175, so I'll give you an idea, Albert.
I played fullback at 165. So if that tells you anything, in an offense that fullback was actually a position, and you played the traditional, blocking. You played the traditional blocking stuff. So we ran split T formation. Sometimes we would run a power I, and we even ran, if you've ever seen a 3-back I and an I, not with a T, with a split T.
We called it the Maryland I.
The Maryland I. That's right. Our offense was
all
actually
3 of the backs, Albert, would be right behind the quarterback. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So you could give it to the last guy, and you'd have 2 guys in front blocking. So
either that or you had some real good misdirection in that the first 2 backs the quarterback may fake a dive to the right and even potentially a dive to the left, but you'd have the 2 backs go this way, and then so the 2 lead backs, the fullback and the 2-back would go, 1 and 2-back would go, and then your tailback would follow one of the 2, through the hole. So we played a lot of misdirection stuff, but we'll not talk about those years when we had leather helmets.
I got a question, Albert. Do you study that type of stuff? Do you get into formations? What other teams do? You guys look at film, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. We take film actually real serious. We usually have film prepare for the next team like right after the game. So I usually jump on that pretty quick, try to see who we're playing against, what's the game plan going to be. So we take film real serious. We watch film about every day before practice. After practice, we film our own practices and watch it. So we watch film pretty consistently.
So you watch your own practices?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
that's advanced. That's advanced film watching. You start watching yourself. That's
exactly.
Good.
You should.
All colleges do that. Colleges do that.
Well, the good high schools have been filming their practices for decades, and that was one of the things that set some of the programs apart was the filming and then the breakdown. But Albert, back to you. So you watch a lot of film. That's good. You play DB too, right?
Yes, sir.
Corner, safety?
Yes.
Or safety? Both? Okay. Strong or free safety?
Free safety.
Okay. So you can tackle?
Yes, sir.
You like tackling? So for me, I loved playing defense because I love tackling. Do you prefer to use your athletic ability and keep people from having the ability to tackle you, or do you like laying a lick?
I like being able to do both. More of just what the defense gives me. But like if they're in front of me, we're gonna connect somehow. So we're probably gonna lower shoulders. But if it's a one-on-one situation, I'm gonna try to make them miss 9 times out of 10. So
what do you think about Olympic this year? Olympic had a decent run last year. You guys had a good season. How do things look this year? from your view, maybe compared relative to last season?
Compared to last year and this season, I feel like team-wise, chemistry-wise, it's a lot closer. Because most of the people we play as, most people on the team we've been playing with since about pee-wee to middle school. So we all play and we all know how each other plays since those times. So I think this year we're gonna make a bigger run than what we have in the past 2 years. I feel like we could take it all the way if we all put our heads together, continue to do what we do. We're gonna come out what we want as a result-wise.
Well, you're going to have, I think, the conference a little different this year, but definitely Olympic looks to be one of the top teams in the conference, along with, I'd say, Ardrey and South Mecklenburg, team I saw Friday night. They look to be a whole lot better than last season. As far as what the team looks like, where you're going, that's all great, but what I'd like to know is, first of all, what's your favorite subject in school?
I say science. I've always been a science person.
Your science. Good. I'm a science guy too.
So I
love science. So you know what the scientific method is, right?
Yes, sir.
You've learned that already, right? So I'm going to tell you through observation, I started thinking that you were a pretty good athlete, and the theory now is that you are. You're a very good athlete. So what part of science? So science is a broad. There's many different sciences. Which science is draws your interest?
I'm not the best with chemistry, science wise. I'm not the best with math, so I'll probably go like biology, forensic science type, earth and
Biology,
earth and environmental too.
Astrophysics. Yeah. You want to be an astrophysicist? No, I'm just kidding. So is that what you would like to study at the next level in college, or I'm assuming you plan to go to college and hope to play football?
Yes. Sir.
What do you plan to study?
I want to study either science or business and finance. Still out of the two, I'm still undecided about that. But business and finance and science been my top two choices right now into what to study about.
Okay. Now, as you make a decision of where you're going to play football, go to school, what's going to be a deciding factor? Are you going to look at what the school offers academically? And are they going to be able to fulfill your long-term goal, your long-term goal in life? Or are there going to be other factors that are more important?
I feel like the long-time factor really plays a key part because, football or athletic by itself, it doesn't last forever. So something that I get to back up on, have a backup plan, which I've always been told to, just something to lean back. So I want something that's going to last me years in the future, something I can rely back on to have a good outcome for that. Not just sports.
Okay, so on a Saturday afternoon when we're watching college football, who's your team?
I'm a Clemson fan.
You're a Clemson fan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clemson's my number 2. This is obviously my number 1. So Clemson is a good engineering school. They've got good sciences as well. But you're a Clemson fan, okay? That's cool. That's all right. Don't know how Clemson fans grow up in Charlotte, but okay.
They've been on the map probably most of his life. They've been in.
No, they were on the map before he was.
It's like my sons are Florida Gator fans, and they grew up right here in Charlotte.
Yeah, Clemson. They won a national championship back in the early '80s. So Clemson's not. Clemson has always set the standard of football, or has set the standard of football for a long time in the Carolinas. My guys have had some good seasons, but nobody has had any kind of run to match Clemson. What else did I tell you we were going to talk about? This is just kind of a general chat thing. It's not a hard-fire question thing. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. I was talking to Trevor Brown. He coached Albert some last year. He's at
Mm-hmm.
he's a Seahawk, came from Steel Creek,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a little mini reunion out there Friday night on the sideline. But he told me that Albert is like really, really nice in the classroom. He said, Mark, he's gonna get some opportunities academically, which may guide you to which school you go to. So it kind of goes back to Dale's question, like kind of like what you're looking for out of a school, what makes that decision for you. You know, I know with my sons, you know, at first they were all about, you know, playing football and then whatever school they could go to. But some of those decisions came down to academically. There was one school that wanted my oldest son, but academically they couldn't give him enough money to justify it. But he had really excellent grades, then it would have made a difference. And then on the flip side, I know some kids that came out of Olympic, came through Steel Creek, excellent athletes, but they just didn't have the grades to go anywhere, and they ended up didn't even play, and they were good players.
Right.
So tell me what you know what your GPA is.
My GPA right now is a 3.72.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
That's great. That's awesome.
Who is anybody talking to you about playing?
I've had a few schools talk to me before. It's kind of quiet now, but I talked to schools like Old Dominion, Charlotte, Akron, Catawba, and Methodist. Schools like that.
So don't let, because the school's not a Division I school, as an example, don't let that keep you from considering to go to the school. Look at the academics of the school. You want to go somewhere and play and win. The great story I have with my son was that he was recruited by Davidson, and Davidson is a little bit different in how they sign athletes. If you're familiar with Davidson, you got to become a student first. And in the end, my son decided not to go to Davidson, but to go on to NC State so that he could fulfill his academic desires and go ahead and get moving forward in life. And again, I'm not saying give up football, but you do need to really consider heavily where you know what you can learn. And you mentioned some nice schools. You know, there's nothing wrong with going to a UNCC. That'd be a great opportunity. To me, from what I've seen out of you, you can play at that level. You got the athletic ability. You got to have the heart. Play it smart, and you got the athletic ability. So. It's going to be fun to see
work ethic.
Yep, you got to continue to work hard.
I've seen that up close. There's a lot of guys that are good in high school, but when they get to the next level, they got to keep improving. And you know, it's like a business in college. It's a lot different. You know, those coaches get fired if you don't win, and or you don't perform. They put you on the bench as another guy right behind you, scholarship or not. They're going to put the best player on the field for that Saturday. So there's a lot of pressure on those young men in colleges to get out there and play and get on the field and stay straight off campus in the classroom. You know, the coaches looking at study habits and miss class. They know. So you got like those coach. You're not like a regular student. We're watching everything you do. I mean, on and off campus. So.
Well, remember that when they look at your film, they're not just, they want to see, when they talk about seeing game film, there's a reason. You can give them your highlights. So you can show them that nice move where three guys are laying on the ground and, you're trotting off for a score, or you just blast by the cornerback. He's got no hope in the world of staying up with you. Those are great, and they can see those. But when they look at entire game film, they want to see what you're doing when the ball's not coming to you. They want to see how you're playing when the ball's, if you're split out to the right and it's a play to the left and a running play to the left to boot. They want to see what you're doing. What are you doing on that play? Are you following through with your either route that you're supposed to run or the block that you're supposed to make? Just remember that and share that with your teammates, that coaches look at everything, because work ethic, that's part of work ethic. And that's a part of understanding your assignments and executing. Well, we've taken a lot of your time, Albert. Anything you want to say?
I was going to say, whatever college does take the opportunity to look at me, you're going to get a great player. I appreciate the opportunity from you guys, at least helping me out just by communicating and my name out. Because you guys taking us out your time. I know I talked to Mark yesterday. He said it's not a certified program for him. He was taking the time to interview me. I appreciate that a lot. So I thank you guys for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's great to talk with you. Maybe sometime we can go to Wing King together. That's the best wings in Charlotte, and they're in our neighborhood, guys. We're all Steel Creekers. It's right here in our neighborhood, so maybe we can do that. I'm gonna let Chelsea know to get in contact with you. I'm gonna introduce you to and see if we can get her to do a talk with you, because I think it would be great, and that'll give you a lot more of exposure than what you get from this, unfortunately. But tell your friends, man.
Definitely.
I want to get Carolina Varsity back up where it was at, Mark.
Yeah.
So tell your friends, and be sure to share your game. Or not your game, but your highlights that you're putting together. I assume you're updating those every week.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, because Huddle makes that stuff easy. It's not like it was 10, 20, years ago. Huddle makes that very easy to pull things together. Who you playing this Friday night?
We have Harding.
You have Harding. Okay. At Harding or at Olympic?
At Harding.
At Harding. Okay. So work hard for this week for that game, and I wish you. I don't like using the word wish luck. I see something getting cut that I wish wouldn't get cut. I'm sorry. I had plans for that tomato. I mean that banana that's getting cut.
I got a final question. Albert, are you actively trying to get with the coaches in colleges? Is someone helping you? You understand the process, how that works?
Yes, sir. I know I have a lot of my coaches helping me out. I talk to a lot of them. I email coaches. I know Twitter's a big thing for coaches. It's just more of how film is. I want to be a standout player, because I know a lot of people are texting coaches consistently trying to get in contact with them. So it's just a matter of who they're looking at and what the best opportunity would be. So I just continue to keep working and show them who I'm able to be.
Yeah, I'll give you a little tip on that. When you're looking at schools, let's say you get down to a couple schools, look at the position that they're recruiting you for, and then look at their depth chart on their roster. For example, if the team they're looking at you as wide receiver, and they got 4 receivers, and 3 of them are seniors this year, and you're a senior in high school, that means they got to replace those 3 guys. Whereas if they've got 3 sophomores and a freshman receiver, and they're looking at you, well, they don't really need a receiver right now, maybe a year or 2 from now. So you'd have to go there and ride time behind those guys. So kind of look at that. And the coaches, each year they don't recruit every player for every position every year. So some years they need 2 or 3 running backs and maybe only 1 receiver. And then another team may need 4 receivers, so sometimes that's kind of how the process works. They'll maybe not recruit receivers this year. They don't really need them. They're looking at, they need a tight end, or they got a guy that got hurt or graduated or transferred. They're trying to fill those spots. So, they've got like a depth they're working with. So try to look at that stuff too when you're looking at schools. They give you some insight. When you're talking to the coaches, you can say, "Hey, I see you got 3 senior receivers. I'd like to, to get an opportunity at one of those spots.
Yes, sir.
So
I
anyway,
appreciate that.
if you ever need any help, Dale or myself, we'll be glad to give you some pointers on that, and we'll send this stuff out. Try to get you some exposure that way. And I've already sent the interview we had Friday to Limestone.
Okay,
That's where Evan went to college. Just 45 minutes up the road, Division II. They play Catawba, Wingate, Carson Newman, Lenore Ryan, all those guys, and they recruit from Charlotte. They got a star tailback senior this year from West Charlotte.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's not too far from us either.
Yeah, that was a good decision for him. So it may not be for you, but anyway, I know those guys, so I've already sent your stuff. So
Okay.
Good luck.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
that was just a long time you gave us, 30 minutes, not the normal length of span of a player. And what I'll try to do is I'll get to the video of it and clip out certain points of it so we can have some short points for someone to look at. Thank you, and I'll see you at a game. Don't think I'm going to go to the Harding game. My plans right now are to definitely watch you guys play South Mecklenburg.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be at that game and maybe the Ardrey Kell game. Those are going to be games that I think determine conference championship.
Yes, sir.
So I'll see you. Thank you for taking the time, Ace.
Thank you.